The Romans, a triumphant people. To them, conquest and victory were a glory above all, and to a select few who showed themselves to be excellent in generalship, they were awarded the greatest honor of all, a triumph. Good evening. My name's Dan Bushmeyer, and I think Rome rocks, dude. As we settle into our 3-day weekend to celebrate Veterans Day, let's take a look at how the Romans would celebrate their veterans. Now I know what you're thinking. Dan, does any general who wins a battle get a triumph? No. Only those who showed the glory of the gods, or really embraced what it means to be Roman, and defy the odds in the field of battle get awarded a triumph. Ha! Or so they want you to think. Cicero describes really well in his letters to his homeboy Atticus that the triumphal process is incredibly political. Those who have the greatest ambition to get one won't. Those who pretend to have somewhat ambition, but also kind of pretend they don't want the power, because really, they do, but they pretend they don't, those are the guys who get the triumphs. Cicero, he never mastered that tactic. Now, a triumph wasn't just for the political glory of one man. The Senate used it as a means to show how well the city was, especially after a war. As described by Tacitus, Livy, and Suetonius, they used it to parade art and gold and capture treasures and slaves all throughout Rome. Although that last part's rather disturbing because they would end up being human sacrifices on the Capitoline Hill. Some of these art pieces they parade around the streets of Rome during a triumph were incredible. During the triumph of Caesar in 46 BC, after he finished the Civil War, he triumphed paintings of Cato's suicide, his political rival. These had powerful effects on the audience, who themselves were mostly disgusted since the city of Rome was Pompeian in faction. But nevertheless, it was powerful, a great propaganda tool. Triumphs meant everything to these Roman people. See, none of these artworks survived, so I contacted a local artist to get a brief recreation. I think they did a swell job. See, what I love about this piece is it really shows just how brutal this suicide was. Imagine seeing this being paraded around the streets of your city after this general who just beat you in civil war is now taking sole dictatorship. That means something powerful. I mean, just look at the anguish in his eyes. You can't replicate that. But this artist, I think they did a pretty fantastic job. But see, these art pieces, they didn't last forever. And that's unfortunate, because I'd give anything to see the originals. But, hey, such is life. What they needed was something more permanent. Augustus learned that these art pieces won't last forever, that he needed to do something to make his triumphs for his generals a bit more long-lasting, something that would last through the test of time. Now, although all this seems cruel to our modern sensibilities, we must remember the Romans were a different people. I mean, the greatest propaganda work of all, the Aeneid, tells the story of a man who's pious, escaping his home of Troy with his gods. To them, religion was everything. The gods were an active force in the world, and you had to do what you do to please them. To please Mars, the father of Romulus and Remus, the Romans had to do a lot. See, these triumphs were a great celebration of that lineage that they held. Well, the only problem with the triumph is it doesn't last forever. It's a party for a day, and then you're hungover for a while. That's no fun. See, the Romans needed something different. They needed to improve. Out with post and lintel. Can't even bear weight in the middle. And hello, triumphal arches. I can just envision it now. The rolling hills of grapevines, the blue sky ahead, birds calling. My mom used to tell me a bedtime story every night. Hic scribere tu mysterius ruinus.
And now I shall tell you of a ruin that is quite mysterious, that being the ancient Roman triumph arch of Tiberius. The monument was erected in 16 AD, unprotected by Deluxe or Trojan, you see. It was built to celebrate a triumph so righteous, the return of 3 Aquilas back to Rome, thanks to Germanicus. Now, what exactly is Aquila? Could it be another brand of tequila? No, my booze little beagle. It's Latin for eagle. The Aquila has quite a meaning in the military region. It stood as a powerful symbol which represented the legion, To this it held as a Roman standard. They took the shape of flags, staffs, and banners. The eagles boosted morale for the Roman soldiers, perched way up high. That was until the Germans stole them away, back in the year of 9. This happened during the great reign of Augustus, and it was his appointed son to blame, Varus. During 9 CE, it was he who ruled over Germany, taking their land, their freedom, their underpants, and their money. Oh, how their dignity did molt. So Arminius led a revolt, and sadly, in the Battle of Teutoburg Forest, the Aquilas were taken from the Roman storage. It was thanks to Varus that the Aquilas were lost in the German excitement. Oh, why, Augustus, why did you have to give so much power to this disappointment? Augustus Gloop, the great big greedy nincompoop. The Roman guy was okay, though. It wasn't until the year 16 AD that the Aquilas were freed from Germany by none other than the great general Germanicus. With the Roman standards restored, everything was righteous. So to honor this victorious march, there was constructed the Tiberius Arch. This arch is located in the Forum Romanum, which nowadays has been reduced to crumbs, but like much of Italy, shall go down in infamy.